So thank you, Eyal, so much for joining me from Israel. So yeah, good morning and thank you very much. This is a real privilege. Where do you actually live, Eyal? I forgot to ask you last month when I met you.
So I'm living in the Upper Galil area, which is the northern part of Israel. When we met, we were on the Golan Heights, which
Mhm.
is the uh, northern eastern part of Israel. I'm living in the same north, however, a little bit to the west, in the
Okay.
valley called the Upper Galil, a small community named Dafna.
Okay, and that was also affected by Hezbollah rockets, I assume.
Yes, of course. We have been evacuated from, well, October 7th, I was called to duty. My wife left home at October 8th. And for 8 days, they were staying at my brother's house in next to Tel Aviv. And on the 16th, it was the official decision of the government of Israel. So they moved to a hotel in Tiberia,
Mhm.
and they were staying there. When I came for a short vacation, I of course joined them, but we were staying there for 14 months, 16 months, sorry.
Wow. Yeah. So I think something that very few people can outside Israel can even imagine, especially people from the northern border, how many thousands of people have been evacuated. And
Approximately 60,000. And what is more concerning is the government of Israel declared on February, like 3 months ago,
Mhm.
that it's safe for us to come back home. Unfortunately, if you will take the northern part of Israel, between 50 to 60% of the population came. It means that there is like almost 30,000 Israelis or 20,000, let's say, that didn't come yet.
Mm,
We are hoping, for example, in my community, some will come when the year school will ended because they
mm,
have children learning in other places.
mhm,
But the estimation speaks about at least 10 to 15% that will not come back. And this is a big challenge for Israel. This is why, for example, today we are making a lot of noise trying to explain the government why they should invest a lot of money in order to make the North better than it was on October 6th, by the way.
yeah,
It will not be enough just to go to October 6th.
yeah,
We are in a periphery. It's a beautiful periphery, but it's a periphery.
yeah,
And we need that the government will invest money. We need the private donations. We
mm,
need the ability to rebuild. I'm saying that rebuilding Daphna is a symbol of rebuilding the state of Israel. This is how powerful it is, in my opinion. We
mhm,
must do that,
yeah.
and hopefully during the next years we will do that. We will succeed to do.
Yeah, amen to that. And I also met quite a few of the evacuees from the north in Jerusalem, and they were also sharing how it is to live away from your home for so long, and just the little things that people that never makes to the media. But yeah, we hope that for that. Now, why we are here today is talking about your Operation Good Neighbor, which is like such a fantastic operation that the IDF conducted, but it seems like not many people know about it. So I would really like you to share that. Now, you said that you were called up to the reserves again when the war started, but who are you and what's your yeah, exactly what you are. I mean, known for
So
Operation
good
Good Neighbor.
morning. My name is Eyal Dror. I'm married to Michelle and have three children, 48 years old. I was privileged to serve my country as an active duty officer for 24 years. It means from 95 when I joined, when I was 18 until the age of 42. In addition, when I retired, I'm now in the last 6 years, I'm a reservist officer. My last role as an active duty officer was the commander of Operation Good Neighbor. We will talk about that. And I continue in my reserve to serve at the Bashan division. This is the division that taking care of the Israeli-Syrian border. Before I became the commander of Operation Good Neighbor, I was the head of operation of COGAT, the Coordination of Government Activities in Territories. This unit, I spent approximately 20 years of my service. It means that I have a big background on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict since the day of the Oslo Accords back in the 90s to all the military operation, the humanitarian, the consistent humanitarian aid provided to Gaza and the areas of Judea Samaria. I served in Gaza, in Hebron, Bethlehem, Tulkarem, Kalkilia, all over. So this is a little bit about that. And since the day I retired, well, it's a little bit funny because when you are in the IDF, the only thing you're wishing is to get the promotion, the next rank. So my dream came true when I got the lieutenant colonel rank. My
Mhm.
father was a major in the IDF, and when I reached to the major and then the lieutenant colonel, he saluted me. So for me, it was exciting. And I was supposed to get a colonel rank after Operation Good Neighbor. It was a successful operation from military perspective. We will talk about the humanitarian, but also from a military perspective, I did something respectable. So I was well known to the generals of the IDF. It was like very well known fact that when the operation came to its end, I should go back to my unit and get the colonel. And I took a decision to retire. And the desire and the passion was because I knew the IDF. I knew that when I will retire, nobody will talk ever about Operation Good Neighbor. And I said that what we have done should be learned, should be addressed,
Mm.
not just as a military tactic, but as a bridge between people. And this is why I decided to retire and to start to become a speaker, to meet the delegation, to share with them the story of Operation Good Neighbor, and then to write a book in Hebrew. And then it was a decision like 2.5 years ago to make it also in English. And
Right. And
you
I
know, it,
just finished reading the book. It's amazing. So would you
thank
show the book again, please? Yeah. You have a copy of the book, right? Yeah,
yeah, this is
Embracing the Enemy, and I would really recommend anybody to read this. So it's very important that you wrote it. Thank you, because this story cannot be forgotten. So,
I truly agree.
mm,
And like I said, my mission didn't finish yet. It
mhm,
should be also, um, I'm trying now to work about translating it to Arabic and maybe to other languages, which will give the opportunity or the access for more people. I know that when it's now becoming English, it will be more people for example like you actually you couldn't have read it in the Hebrew version. You could have the ChatGPT and Google Translate, but it's not like reading a book.
yeah,
So English cover a lot. However, there is a lot of other residents in the world that it will be much more accessible if it will be on Norwegian, for example, or in Arabic, or
yeah,
so. I'm now starting to think about which other languages it should be published. Uh, it's a little bit more complicated because I will share with you a personal issue. I decided to make the English version from my own budget. It's not like the government of Israel sponsored me. And I decided that it's important for me. But now the next translations, this is what my role will be for the next years, is trying to find a sponsorship or something like
yeah.
that. I know myself, the end of the day, it will be translated for more languages because, again, the passion to share the story is very important. So this is a little bit about the book, and if you want some details about the operation itself, I will be
Yeah,
happy to give
absolutely.
you.
So just briefly again, I mean, because the details are there in the book, which I highly suggest everyone should read. But practically speaking, and also like professionally and personally, what were your biggest challenges? Just briefly, if you share what this operation was about, and also what were your main challenges? Yeah.
So first of all, Operation Good Neighbor was based on a secret operation started in 2013, in which Israel decided to evacuate wounded Syrians to Israel.
Mm,
And after 3 years, and after we saved the life of some like 3,500 Syrians, we decided that we can do much more. The Syrian side, because there was a lot of lack of trust between the two the populations, uh, and after 3 years, the Syrians asked for more, and we realized that we can reach for more people. And from our point of view, as much people we will reach to them, they will be able to learn about Israel and to take a decision whether we are enemies or not.
mm,
So this was, in one sentence, the goal to provide as much humanitarian aid as possible by a lot of tools, from evacuated people to Israel, projects conducted to children suffering from chronic diseases, building a maternity hospital, sponsoring bakeries, providing them food and clothes, and. When you are talking about challenges, well, I can divide it for a couple of it. First of all, inside the military, I created an organization. I had to thought about the principle of work. Nobody did humanitarian aid to Syria,
mm,
so it's like a startup. You have an idea, but now you have to build it
yeah.
to recruit your team. Uh, to build a place and a lot of it's like technical challenges, but it's a huge one.
Mm,
Regarding the operation itself, we had to build trust with the Syrians. Yes, they knew that we are providing aid. However, when you are taking them on the midst of the night, it's one thing.
yeah.
And to provide sugar and flour in bags written in Hebrew, it's another issue.
Yeah.
So you must build trust.
Mm,
So for me, it was like a big challenge, and we made a principle how to make it happen.
mm,
How you are, uh, I will not say even convince people, how you are making to understand that we are with them and we are not here to make some PR like some civil organizations. Was one of the reasons why we didn't publish it until after a year. So this
mm,
was a big challenge. The second challenge was to find, I will call it, partners.
mm,
What does it mean? The government of Israel approved the operation and the IDF provide me amount of money,
mhm,
but it was very small. And we knew that if we want to do a very wide, we need the help of NGOs.
mm,
They are professional in that. They know how to do that. They have the teams, they have the equipment. So my second role mission or my second challenge was to find the correct colleagues. After I will say that, we ask a very big organization
mhm,
to help us, and all of them denied. All of them didn't agree. So we had to find other organization that are far away from politics. I will mention it like that,
mm,
and want to do good for the world, although it connected for Israel. And sorry for being cynical, because a lot of organizations will do humanitarian aid, which is great, of course. However, when it goes to Israel, we had questions like, but it is in occupied territories. And
yeah.
I asked them, okay, this is a political issue. We are
Mm,
now or we are now focusing on saving lives. So can we put the politics outside? With some organization, we couldn't have done that, unfortunately.
mm,
So to find the organization and then to see what their abilities and how I can adjust it to the Syrian needs. When you're doing humanitarian aid, when you want to build trust, when you will come, when you've been in Israel, Pashul, and for example, you have been thirsty. and I had like two bottles of Coke, but you never drank Coke. So I have something, but this is not what you need. You
Yeah.
want water. I don't have water. I will do effort to bring you water. This is how I build
Right.
trust. If I would take this example to the Syrians, in the first time they couldn't have got food from us. They had like a fatwa inside Syria that they cannot get food from us. Okay, food for me it was the most easiest thing to do,
Mm.
but this is not what they need.
Right.
So we had to see what their real needs are,
Mm.
and then to find an NGO that can do that, and then to think how we are doing it on the operational area, because again it's an enemy country,
Yeah.
it's an area
Mm.
controlled by ISIS, by Al Qaeda. So it
Yeah.
was like one big long challenge, but I can tell you that I do believe that we succeeded to manage those challenges. So if you will ask me, those are the three biggest challenges. uh, Everything else can be connected to
Right.
one of these three: building a unit, building a trust, building collaborations.
Yeah. That is, that's like really amazing because it's kind of like really building a startup and working from there. You have the budget, but how you use it and all the operational challenges, it's really amazing. Now, so if I understand right, Israel had already started this operation in 2013, but you guys really like made it into a unit, proper unit, with its own
Exactly.
in 2016.
Yeah, so between 2013 to 2016, it's not just because it was amazing, but only to evacuated wounded Syrians.
Yeah.
It wasn't like other parts of aid provided. When it became official, when the strategic decision was that we want to do more and creating a unit, so we realized that we can do much, much more on the healthcare, but from a lot of other aspects that we
Mhm.
can help. And again, we needed the NGOs because, for example, medicines, we could have bought it through the IDF. The bureaucracy might made it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So we had, for example, an Israeli organization and a Muslim organization.
Mm,
They were like dealing with medicines.
mm,
So they provide us medicines. Again, if you will speak about numbers, we got donations worth approximately 400 million shekels during the project from the NGOs. The Israeli budget for that was 60 million shekels, 50 million shekels. So you can realize the difference.
yeah.
Uh, and I realized that when I had my partners, I knew exactly what I can expect from them and from issues that they couldn't have provided. For example, they couldn't have provide food, fresh food. And
Yeah.
it's really make logic because to ship fresh food,
Yeah. Yeah. Of
so
course.
this one, for example, we were using our budget and to buy
Mm,
it from the Israelis market.
mm. Well, amazing. And I think also another challenge, probably, which you did not specify here, but it's in the book, at least from what I read from the book, is you were also working with Muslim and Christian and Israeli organizations, NGOs together, and also to deal with these interreligious or interfaith aspects is also not easy, right?
Yes.
Because after all, Frontier Alliance International, which went into Syria helping, they were also a Christian organization. And so there is the challenge of also not bringing in the Christian, like not using it as an evangelizing tool
Of course.
into Syria because they were under your umbrella. So you were responsible for that too, which
Yeah.
should not be ignored.
Again, I didn't spoke about all the tensions, but of course, just I'm not even speaking about not to put the Christian issue with the Muslims. I'm talking that every organization has its own DNA,
Mhm.
its own values, its, by the way, its own interests.
Yeah.
What will you do when an organization tells you, I want to be with you, but I want to publish that because my donors need to see where my money goes. And I tell
Yeah.
them, you cannot do so. Or we are breaking the tools and not playing together, or
Mm,
we are trying to think out of the box in order to find a solution. So in this case, for example, this is not belong regarding to whether they are Christian or Muslims, but let's go with the relationship with the NGOs. I suggest them, okay, if your donors coming to visit, bring them to my office. I promise you that I will put my time for them. We will talk, they will see, they will hear that they are not wasting the money, but I cannot provide picture. So this was a good solution. When
mm,
you are talking with the Christians, or for example, one of the head leaders of one of the Christian organization was a teacher. He wanted to educate it. We got from the Syrians, no, we don't need that because
right.
they were, of course, afraid that someone is going to do, in their words, a brainwash. So we had to
Mm,
monitor everything. So
right.
everything was very sensitive. Again, it's a meeting between people that never met before. Everyone has its own ideas and has its own interest, and you are like the playmaker. If you are doing the basketball, you have to organize everyone on the court and to have the correct decisions,
Yeah.
uh, because if not, it will be a foul.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Now, I want to ask you something. Towards the end of the book, you wrote that you want, if this new Syrian government is looking for peace with Israel or looking to work together, then you want to use this Operation Good Neighbor also as a dialogue, as a platform for, how do you envision it?
Uh, well, I have my thoughts about the Syrian regime, the new Syrian regime, and my concerns, I will say like that.
Mm,
However, let's say that someday something will be changed. Ashara, the president, spoke about he want to join the Abraham Accords. I'm not a great believer for these statements, but again, I will put aside my thoughts about that. I do believe that what we have done has influence inside Syria. Yes, I can agree that people from Dir Azur or maybe from Halab uh, didn't hear much about that. Although there were people that, for example, were in our region and ran away to the Idlib region, so
mm,
they probably could have shared some stories. There are people living outside Syria
mm,
that were treated in Israel,
mm,
their life has been saved. There is a famous story that the person, one Israeli published it on Facebook. He was speaking about him eating a dinner in Stockholm
mm,
in a restaurant, and is talking about his experience from the meeting with some Syrian refugees. The waitress was a Syrian, and she told him, "You saved my mom." So people around Syria, some of them knows, yes, it's
mm,
just 1%, 5%, I don't know how much, but some know. Hopefully when some more read books, some more will read. I do believe that this is a bridge between the two populations that, okay, we saved you once, we are not your enemies anymore.
yeah.
We are in the last 45, 50, 60 years. We don't need to do anything with Syria land. We only need
Mm,
our security concerns.
mm,
This is why I said that it will be like a good point to start the dialogue.
yeah.
Okay, the dialogue can be started. You occupied our territories back in 67,
Mm,
or it could started on you saved
right.
dozens of thousands of Syrians during the civil war.
Mm,
So let's see how we can continue
right.
and and to do something or so. But again, maybe I'm just a naive, maybe just a wishful thinking. Uh, the only thing that I know for sure that Syrians today in Syria there is thousands of Syrians that are living thanks to the state of Israel. This is not something that any BDS protester or any Jew hatred can say it didn't happen.
Mm.
People has the scum of the bullet of the Assad regime, and then the treatment that they got from Israel.
Yeah.
So it's
So maybe
something.
that's also part of the reason why the Druze in Syria are now coming to look for help from Israel, or the minorities who are being massacred. They know the truth. So, but I think
Everybody
opening.
know. I will just add one thing, Bashar. Uh, they could have got also free treatment in Jordan. And when we asked them, Jordan is like your brothers and sisters, they are Muslims, Sunnis,
Mm,
and they said, we prefer to be treated in Israel. We know that your doctors will do a better job.
wow. Yeah, well, that says a lot. So I think in terms of building bridges, if people read this book, or people get to know, more and more people get to know about the operation. And I mean, I live in Europe, I live in Germany, where there are a lot of Syrian refugees who came due to the Syrian war. And I think most people have contact somehow to some Syrian, either in a shop or a or workplace or neighbors or whatever. If we can just, in daily conversations, just share one or two things. Hey, did you know that this is what happened? And they might just completely reject that, because when I talk to Syrians, a lot of them would not even say the name Israel. They will say, "Oh, you mean Palestine?" I said, "No, not Palestine, Israel." So, but just be patient and share the little bit of information here and there. Maybe that's just one of the ways to start. And of course, at a government level, it's another thing. Probably the government should stop using the word all the time, occupied territory. As you said, look at the positives, look at how Israel saved thousands of lives. So maybe that's the challenge, but that's an opportunity. And so, yeah. And now, one of the things, and we can end with that, is, of course, I want to shine light on what Israel did. But one of the things that I read in your book is also how you were giving a voice to the Syrians who could not reach out. Because, yeah, would you like to share one or two things about that?
Yes, so our strategic decision was that we are not going to publish this operation. I thought it might be hurtful for the Syrians because they took a risk while coming to Israel. And when we are talking about trust, we knew this is stories that we heard from them that, for example, an international organization came to their areas, provide them some sugar and flour, had its own pictures, and then taking them back or something like that. We wanted that they will realize that we are not here for taking pictures. Um, and after a year, by the way, some of my commanders push very hard to do that, to do this publicity, because we realize that we can earn something from that in the international arena, and I succeeded to stop them. After a year, I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, Syrian colleagues, and during the conversation, I asked him about what do you think? Should we publish what we are doing? By the way, it's another level of building trust because I didn't inform him that I'm doing that. I
Mhm.
asked his opinion for
Yeah,
that.
very important.
Uh, and I was surprised. He told me, we want you to share that
Mm.
because we know that nobody in the world is interested in Quneitra. Yes, people are hearing about Aleppo, about Damascus. Who cares about Quneitra? And if you will bring journalists
Mm.
and you will share our story, it means that people will know
Mm.
what we are handling. So when media came and interviewed Syrians, and it was broadcasting outside, it was like sharing the voice of Syria, of
Mm.
the southern part of the region, because anyone, everyone said we are now in Israel evacuating or speaking with Syrians. So everybody knew, okay, so this is the area that close to the Syrian, Israeli-Syrian border. So for them, it was like we can help them even in sharing their voices and their messages
Yeah.
through international media and to Israeli media.
Yeah.
When a Syrian girl said, I love you, Israel, it's a powerful message
Absolutely.
because her parents were educated to hate us.
Hmm.
It's a powerful message. When you
Absolutely.
see a Syrian boy hugging Israeli soldiers, it's a powerful message. It's not a joke. It's not to make something unreal. You
Mm.
know, children, well, they are doing what their hearts they have clean hearts.
Yeah.
He won a hug the IDF soldiers because he was playing with them 10 hours
Yeah.
while he was in the hospital with them. So it became a win-win situation. We
Yeah.
published it. However, we were the voice of Syrians, and like I told
Mm.
you before, we did it together. I
Mm.
didn't, although I was the stronger side, of course, and I provided the aid.
Mm.
My my thought was that I'm not going to use and take advantage of that situation. From my point of view, they were colleagues. And you know, when you're a colleague, it means that you and I were the same.
Yeah.
Uh, I do I do believe that this is what make the operation one of the tools that make the operation powerful. They knew that when I'm saying something, it will happen.
Yeah, that is amazing because you're not treating them as charity cases, but an equal partner. And trust is really built on respecting each other. And that's what you did. I wish more politicians would learn from you because this is absolutely amazing. And this is really the our hope for a better world, really, what this Operation Good Neighbor did and what it stands for. So for that, I really wish that more and more people will get to know, and I'll try my best to spread the message too.
I
Thank you
will be
so much.
grateful for that.
Thank you so much.
And of course, when you're ready with the interview, I will be happy to get